my girl made Lisa's head down from that wagon. They got my good sis out here doing a damn show and tell. A bad omen? How about just bad manners? Have some respect. Cole's dumbass thinking that they should be welcomed back with open arms. Like, shut up. Ain't nobody asked for this damn war. The propaganda ain't working on them anymore. And now they're getting locked in, along with the smell of burnt reptile flesh, dead bodies everywhere, BO, and God knows what else. Cole talking about they don't know we won. Won what? A mess. I would hate to live there. Even though I agree, I think this episode was a filler episode, I love what they're setting up. I feel like the themes for this episode were frustration and grief. Jace being called to action, Corlys mourning not just his wife, but all the family he's lost, while Baela and Rhaenyra are more introspective with their grief. And there are so many parallels between the two houses as well. There's Rhaenyra and Alicent both dealing with the fact that they're surrounded by misogynists, and no matter how competent either of them are, they can't ever be seen as anything more than just women. And it's so blatantly in our face this episode that I felt just like Alicent in that council meeting having a freaking panic attack. I could viscerally feel her fury, frustration, and hopelessness. Olivia cooked. But that's also what she gets for being the ultimate pick-me. Aside from the Grand Maester, God bless that man, I really hope Aemon doesn't have him killed. All the common sense completely left the room. Because as much as I don't like Alicent, she spent years as queen consort when Viserys was dying. And she has so much more experience than anyone else at that table. Her being undermined just because she doesn't have experience dealing with war is completely ridiculous. Because one, none of them do. I loved Rhaenyra's comeback to that very retort from Sir Alfred, that he hasn't seen any more battles than she has because for the past 80 years they've lived in peace. And second, you would assume that they'd want to get back to some semblance of peace, but as per usual, the men want to go to war. The fact that Larys even says that Alicent being queen would go against them usurping the crown from Rhaenyra is absolutely wild to me, because it proves that they're so aware of their prejudice. And to be honest, there isn't much hope for Alicent. Like, she's made her bed and now she has to lay in it. But Rhaenyra, honey, you gotta get more women on that council. And she has two wonderful choices in the castle already: Baela and Mysera. Baela was such a standout to me this episode. You can tell that she's mourning her grandmother who she loves so much, but she's not letting the grief consume her. She's letting it fuel her. Sometimes grief can really put things into perspective for some people, just like it did with Baela. And she easily had one of the best lines of the whole episode, if not the whole series.
I would make you my heir.
I am blood and fire. Driftmark must pass to salt and sea.
And as wise as Corlys is, I feel like Baela really enlightened him in that moment. Rhaenys had the blood of the dragon running through her. Not only was it her choice to go and fight like the warrior she was, but she wouldn't have wanted to die any other way. And I love that Baela reminds him that that's how her mother Laena, his daughter, also chose to go, and how she would also like to go when it's her moment. Because some people forget that Baela and Rhaena are even more Targaryen than even Jace. Their mother Laena, Rhaenys' daughter, was half Targaryen, and through their father Daemon's side, who's fully Targaryen, they're 75% Targaryen. So the blood of the dragon runs deep with her and her sister as well. And I love that she's becoming such a force to be reckoned with. And Mysera continues to be such an interesting character. I loved her lines this episode. What some leaders, especially Team Green, fail to realize is that the people have much more power than they even realize. And while Team Green chooses to suppress and control the small folk, which never works by the way, Rhaenyra through Mysera can hopefully find a way to earn their loyalty, but also their respect and allegiance in ways only she knows how because of her experience. I was so proud of Jace and his negotiating skills in this episode, and even though I don't know how that's gonna fly with Daemon, or once they realize what a shithole Harrenhal is, but I love his initiative. And I absolutely love seeing Rhaenyra and Jace plotting and brainstorming together. I really understand Jace's frustration and restlessness in this episode as well. I feel like he's not even allowing himself to think of the possibility of failure, because he knows what it means for all of them, the death of everybody that he loves. And in times of desperation, some people crumble, and some people are like Jace and Rhaenyra. They let it fuel their creative thinking. Is it an absolutely insane idea to find, for lack of a better word, bastards they know must exist? Because one thing these people are going to do is they're going to find them and have them fight for their chance to win a dragon. Yes, it's madness, but also kind of brilliant. Last episode, I was wondering why Daemon saw himself with a patch on one eye like Aemon. And I don't know if there's another reason, but my theory is that Daemon subconsciously realizes how similar him and Aemon are. They're both incredibly unpredictable, revengeful, fearsome, and absolute maniacs. They both have these tumultuous relationships with their brothers and felt like they were a better fit to rule on the Iron Throne. And I know this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but don't get me wrong, I know that he can be iconic sometimes, but Daemon kinda sucks. And that's the problem with wild card characters like both of them. Sometimes they're cool and sometimes they're idiots. I know he's an audience favorite, but I've never liked him for many reasons that I feel like people just forget or like toss aside, which kind of makes me upset. Because like, do y'all really have such short attention spans? He basically groomed Rhaenyra. He's done every single woman in his life dirty. His first wife that he killed, Mysera, Lena, his daughters, and now he's with Rhaenyra. And I've done had it with him. The whole time he's been at Harrenhal, I hate that he's just been sabotaging Rhaenyra's claim to the throne. He's been sulking about how he feels like he should have been named heir instead. It's getting exhausting. His jab about maybe going to King's Landing and taking back the throne, and that Rhaenyra can join him if she wants to as his queen instead. He got me fucked up. But I love how the people are calling him out for his war crime, waking him up in the middle of the night and everything, just like he deserves, because he doesn't deserve a moment of peace after all the bullshit he's done. And unless he really does meet his end at Harrenhal, I swear to God he's gonna leave that place even more unhinged than he already was. And I'm not looking forward to it.